Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning if you're in Sri Lanka, and good afternoon if you are from Australia. So, on a busy Saturday, all of us are gathered here today because as we are stepping on to a new year and a new unknown, the past 3 years have been chaotic, and who knows, 2024 could even be more chaotic. And weathering those unknown seas, you need to have a very good leadership. Because if not for that sort of a leadership, things might get a bit too hard. And to navigate those weird, I would say, volatile, chaotic seas, you need to have strong leadership. And who is very volatile can become a very bad leader. But in doing so, we need to know how exactly to navigate those shows, navigate the leadership. And for that, that's the reason we are here uh, to understand how good leadership can be straightly put forward in 2024 in navigating, and no better person than the lady over here, Linda Scott, Managing Director of Thinking Leaders, who has a very lovely personality, one who I've loved chatting with, one who I've loved getting to know over the years. And welcome on the show. Welcome to the webinar, Linda.
Thank you. Thanks, Sanjay. How are you going?
Going good, going good. And the numbers are gradually building up. So I'm just going to let the audience also understand who it is. And without further ado, let me just dig deep and give you a beautiful intro about who Linda is. I've known her, but it's high time that the audience gets to know, and the reason why we are having her here today on a December morning. So here she goes. So Linda has worked with and for businesses for over 3 decades. It's a long time. And she's been a CFO, an advisor. She's also a chartered accountant in privately held and listed companies of the XX. And she's got experience in vast fields. So you name it, Linda has experience in various industries, and her leadership has scale in terms of operations, driving operations across finance and strategy, and also being accountable for multi-million dollar budgets in both foreign and domestic projects. So going through her own transformational journey and retraining, training, and also retraining again as a professional master coach and a facilitator, Linda now works intimately with CEOs and executives to assist them to change their thinking and behavior. And all of us know how hard that it could be. But Linda has succeeded in an impeccable way in those regards. And transforming the C-suite and the executives and the leaders has directly impacted the bottom line of businesses. So she has not only been making a change in those individuals' life, but rather the company, their teams, and in general, everyone's life who's involved. Linda is a lifelong learner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a reason why we're having her here today. If and only if a person comes to the conclusion that they have had enough of learning, that's the end of that person's growth. But Linda has challenged her long held beliefs about the world and has been curious, always asking that question, why and if. Linda is a high performance leadership coach and mentor, specializing in self leadership for executives, business leaders, and emerging leaders. She's been happily married for 28 long years and has two wonderful adult daughters. A proud mom, a proud wife, and a proud trainer. Quite hard to think of another good all-rounder. Correct me if I'm wrong, Linda.
Thanks, Sanjay.
And like all of us, she loves traveling and she loves hitting the gym and the beach and the oceans and spending quality time with her family and friends. So it's not only work, but rather you balance out every part of your life to ensure that you give the best outcome for everyone who's involved in your life. And Linda also supports for the carers of those who are undergoing treatment for mental health. So going beyond her business initiatives, going beyond what she wants to make, she's making a change in her, I would say, more than her life and everyone involved, as I mentioned before. So thinking leaders, Linda Scott, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Lovely.
And yep.
And I'm just going to make you host. So
Let's make me co-host. That'd be amazing.
You can get hold of it. And ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a very insightful, adventurous, and at the same time, quite fun, right? So enjoy it while it lasts and enjoy it even later. So I'm just going to make you the host. There you go.
Excellent. Thanks, Sanjay. And I wanted to firstly acknowledge you all for being here. It is Saturday morning and you could be absolutely anywhere else. You could be with your family doing your favorite Saturday hobby, simply chilling out, whatever it is, but you're choosing to be here instead. And that says a lot about you. It says that you're committed to your professional growth. It says that you're committed to your personal growth. And it also says that you're committed to connecting with an incredible community of like-minded peers. And that's what Brisca Education is doing at the moment. But being a high-performing leader, that takes that extra step, that takes the extra mile, and it's the emptiest part of the road. Most do what's enough, but extraordinary leaders and professionals do what it takes. And that's what you have done by being here today on a Saturday. So I just wanted to acknowledge you. And I hope that you all have a cup of tea, a coffee, or a glass of water. I definitely have a water and a cup of tea. You've got pen and paper to take some notes and that you're super comfy. So as Sanjay said, we're going to dive deep into future-ready leadership, navigating success in 2024. But the lens we're going to discuss and explore this topic is through the art of mastering human skills to achieving success in today's corporate world. And often we have great technical skills, and that's only going to get us so far. And it's the soft skills, the human skills, that is the difference, that makes the difference. And that boils down to self-leadership. And we're going to be diving deep into that today. So hopefully you're here because you're interested in learning about how to succeed in your career. And you're here because you want to be successful in 2024 and beyond. And you're here because you want to take your leadership and success to a whole new level. So today I am going to bring my energy, and I'm going to bring some fun, and I'm going to bring my passion with all things leadership. And today is going to be casual and relaxed. And I invite you all to show up as leaders in this webinar environment. I can't see you guys. You can see me. So I want you to think about what it is, how you're going to show up as a leader, because what we do on a small scale, we do on a big scale. So how you are in this moment, well, who do you want to be? So I'm also inviting you to take away at least one nugget of gold that you can implement straight away, because today is all about showing up as a leader. It's about being the benchmark of excellence and taking the next step to achieving your leadership potential. So wherever you are on your leadership journey, you are exactly where you need to be, and you are in the right room. And I'm going to take great care of you today. So we're going to dive into, well, what does this even mean? We're talking about the art of mastering human skills and to achieve success in today's corporate world. And what does that really mean? So I'm going to share the first of a number of slides with you guys. So hopefully you'll be able to see my slide. Okay. So Sanjay, can you see it? You can see my slide? Excellent. Okay, fabulous. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight about who I was before I did this work. So as I was introduced, I'm a chartered accountant by trade, 8 years in public practice. I've lived overseas. I've done all sorts of projects and 10 years as CFO in a number of industries. About 5 years ago, I experienced my own version of burnout, and I went looking to see how I ended up where I ended up and what I was going to do about it. So this is how I felt before. Okay. So I'm a chartered accountant, so finance professional, CFO, and I felt like a robot. I don't know about you guys, if you experience that same sensation, that same feeling of doing the same things all the time and not having choice and not necessarily being that professional and being that human that you want to be. And this is how I felt. And this was the start of going, actually, well, who do I want to be? And how do I want to achieve the success that I want to achieve? I wasn't being that person that I wanted to be. So I went and I studied human behavior and neuroscience and positive psychology, and trained and became a professional master coach. So now I combine the two, my professional finance background with coaching and human behavior and human skills. Okay. So why is this even important? We want to be the benchmark of excellence. I'm sure you guys, when you turn up into your role as a leader at work, whether leader is in your title or not, we're all leaders. So if you're sitting there going, I'm not a leader, you are a leader. And you're a leader at home, you're a leader in your community. It's how we turn up, and we want to be that benchmark of excellence. We want to be able to influence and inspire and be effective with our clients, our teams, our peers, our suppliers, and to drive organizational outcomes and our career success. So mastering human skills. These help us in our workplace and at home. And as a result, they help us in achieving that personal and career success. The better our understanding of human behavior, the more likely we are to grow both professionally and personally. Knowing why we and others react and respond in certain ways help us to get along with others, connect, build trust, resolve conflict, manage relationships, communicate well, make good decisions, and that's only to start with. And these are all key success skills. So if we think about communication is a huge and really important driver of success. We can be the greatest technician in the world, but if we don't have great communication skills, we're not going to be able to build rapport, and we're not going to be able to influence. So I'm just wanting you to take a moment and think about, have you ever spoken to someone and you just don't seem to understand each other? Or you come out of that conversation with a different understanding of the outcome or even the challenge? I know I have. Numerous times. And you think, what planet are they on? Compared to having clarity of communication, having clear outcomes, having similar language. And it was really easy. And then this directly impacts your results, your productivity, your efficiency for you and your team and the bottom line of your organization. Communication is one of the key human skills you must develop as a leader. You know, as Sanjay said, I have been married to my husband for 28 years, and I've known him for probably 35 years. We still work on our communication. It's still a really important part of building trust and maintaining trust and rapport. And so if we're doing that after all of these years, imagine not knowing someone in your organization, or they're new, or you've been working with them for a week or a year, or you've got a client and you want to be able to build that great rapport. It takes time, and it takes skill, and it takes intention to be able to learn how to increase and build those human skills or human behavior, and to be able to understand human behavior. Okay, so I've got a quote for you guys, and I've put it up on a screen. Okay. So success is an inside job first. You put yourself together and your world falls into place. When you bring purpose to your life, you know your priorities, and achieving high productivity on the priorities that matter most every day, your life makes sense and the extraordinary becomes possible. All success in life starts with you. You know what to do. You know how to do it. Your next step is simple. You are the first domino. That's a quote by Gary Keller from The One Thing. So you're thinking, okay, that makes sense. I get it now. So what do I need to do? So it's about knowing who you are. It's about knowing why you do what you do. And it's about knowing who you want to be. And it's about learning to lead and manage yourself so you can lead and influence and inspire others. So to be a great leader, it's a 3-stage process. The first is leading self, and then we lead others, and then we can lead organizations. So that's why we're starting with the human skills and the self-leadership. So what even is self-leadership? Okay, it's about managing ourselves, our own energy, our thinking, our decision-making, our communication, our delegation, and motivation to perform at the highest level. It starts with our morning routine, to the strategies we implement throughout the day, and the actions and pursuing excellence. We're working towards our common goal, creating a domino ripple effect with our teams, driving accelerated organizational results. And your success, your leadership success, begins with your thinking, your mindset, your attitudes, and your beliefs. It begins with understanding what your goals are, the steps you need to take to achieve them, and who you need to be on the inside in order to get there. Your strategies, your habits, your strengths, your benchmarks of excellence, they all directly impact your results. So at the end of our webinar today, you will understand yourself and others better. You'll learn how to adapt your communication style to influence and inspire, and you'll learn how to develop self-awareness, positive relationships, and build rapport. Okay. So today, what I wanted to do is share with you one key model. And then we're going to have some Q&A at the end, and that's where the fun is. Then we get to have some conversations. Okay. So to give you a bit of background, a little bit of an insight into human behavior. Think back to when you were a little boy or a little girl, and those little 0 to 7, just running around, being really curious about the world, and we were surrounded by magical big people. And it might be our family, our community, our whatever organizations and impact of our community environment growing up. And all of these people created what we felt as normal. Okay. And it's this environment in the 0 to 7 years, which we term our imprint years, that form our values and beliefs and our attitudes and standards, our benchmarks. And so, but they're unconscious. We're not aware that they're forming. And then we become adults, and suddenly we think, We see how those values and beliefs and standards and attitudes play out as adults. And we think, actually, are they in alignment with who I want to be moving forward? Or do I want to create different values and beliefs? Do I want to communicate differently? Do I understand the world differently? Because we all have different lenses. So, for example, if you're wearing glasses, imagine putting your glasses on. Sanjay and I, we swap glasses. We're going to have completely different view of the world. No one's lens is exactly the same because we've all grown up completely differently. Different cultural backgrounds, different parts of the world, different families. Everything is different. And yet when we become a leader, we've got to be able to learn to calibrate and build rapport with people that are so completely different to us. And that's why understanding human behavior is such a key to great leadership and achieving whatever success that you want to achieve through 2024 and beyond. So today, what I'm going to do is we're going to start just to one tiny model and start the journey to learn how to see through other people's lenses. And this is my favorite human behavior model, one of my two favorite human behavior models. And it's called extended disc or E-disc. Now, some of you may be familiar with this. Some of you may be familiar with other human behavior profiling models. But what this model does, and it helps us gain insights and understanding of our personal and professional relationships, and accelerating and improving our performance individually and as part of a team. So when we understand what comes naturally and normally to us, we then have the resources to decode ourselves and those around us. And with this insight, we can learn how to communicate in a new and powerful way and to adapt to any situation, increasing your ability to influence others. Because as we said before, it's an inside job first. And today we're taking that first layer off the onion. We're peeling that first layer off to start to learn a little bit about human behavior. So E-disc is based on the research by Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychotherapist back in 1921. But actually, the foundations of human behavior have been around for thousands of years. And the more research I do, it is the fundamental way in which humans have recognized that we're all different. And this particular model has been developed and adjusted since that time. Carl Jung developed the human behavior model and is now used extensively throughout the world. And it's used for within team environments to help teams learn how to communicate and to be able to have great debates and to understand the other person's perspective and point of view. So what I'm going to do is show you first the model. Okay. So let's go. So if I look to the side, that's just simply because I'm looking at a screen that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and I'm just getting it set up. So just a moment. Here we go. Okay, excellent. So it's like all good profiles that you guys might be familiar with. E-disc is split into 4 main quadrants. It's got 160 subquadrants. Okay, 160 subquadrants. So I'm going to take you through each of them, and I want you to think about as you go through. Does it resonate with you? Do you know someone that it resonates with that is like that? So the D energy is a dominant person, a dominant energy. with a dominant energy, they are very visionary in the way they see the world. So the lens in which they see the world is very visionary. They're very big picture. They're very fast decision makers. They're very results driven. They're very task orientated. They're going to tell you what to do. They're not going to ask you what to do. They act very, very quickly and action orientated. A D energy or a dominant person, dominant energy person is going to have 5, 10 projects on at one time, and you're going to feel like they're all over the place. But they're the ones like a entrepreneur. They're always thinking of the next idea and the next innovation. And they're really important to drive a business. So Winston Churchill is an example, or Indira Gandhi is an example. There are many examples of great leaders who are a D energy. Okay, an I energy or an influencer. They're also a big picture and visionary person. They're also very outcome and results focused. The difference here is that an I energy person cares more about what people think. They want to be liked. They want to connect. They experience the world a lot through their feelings and emotions. They care what people think of them. The D energy doesn't really. They like to take time to chat and connect, and they're open and friendly. And they're also going to tell you what to do. So you might liken that to someone like Oprah Winfrey or Will Smith. They love to connect and have fun, and it's quite a loud energy. An S energy, okay, a steady energy. They're more reserved. They are kind and caring. They are more trusted. In an organization, they are the systems and processes. They love the systems and processes, fixing things, making things work. But they're going to ask more than tell. They provide support. They focus on people, and they also experience the world through their emotions. And then we've got our Mother Teresa, Princess Diana, both great examples of an S energy. But they're also, S energies are very logical in the way they see the world as well. And then we've got a C energy person. So a C energy is a compliance person. And a C energy is like a true accountant, a true tax accountant, engineer, clinician, electrician, people who need to be great at doing the detail. And these are C energy people. And so they are 3 times decision makers. Okay. So they're going to want facts. They're going to want evidence. They're going to want more facts, more evidence before they make a decision. They're very analytical and detail driven. They're also going to ask. They're going to listen. So I want you to think about where you fit in. I want you to take a moment to think about what comes naturally and normally to you. So Albert Einstein's a great example. Okay. The other couple of things I want to you to think about, or to know, that a C and an S energy, they're introverted or reserved, which means at the end of the day, they like to recover their energy quietly. And the D and the I's are extroverted or more outgoing, which means at the end of the day, they like to recover their energy doing things. The C and the D energies are very task orientated, okay, very logical in the way, in the lens in which they see the world, in which they experience the world, in which they process the world. And the I's and the S's are feelings and emotions based. So that's what comes naturally, and that's what's comfortable. Now, in an organization, we need some of every quadrant. Because if we don't have a D energy to drive the business forward, if we don't have an I energy to connect the organization, and if we don't have the S and the C energies to do the doing and to get things right and to make sure things work, the organization won't thrive. Now, it's important to note that there's no right or wrong here. There's no better or worse or good or bad. We are all simply different. And so what the premise of eDisc or behavior generally is to know and to think about, okay, what comes naturally and normally to me? What's comfortable for me? So for example, myself, I'm a high S energy with a little bit of D and a tiny sprinkling of C. Okay. And then you think about, but Linda, you're a chartered accountant. How come you're not have more C that comes naturally to you? And the beauty of this is to know that you can stretch into any of the quadrants that you want to. It's simply what is more comfortable is going to be what comes naturally to you. So I know that naturally I love to fix things. I love to fix projects and I love to connect with people. So when I was leaving school, you know, I always wanted to be a social worker. I ended up being an accountant. But I've always had this drive to help people. So through my career, part of what I used to bring me joy was the people side of it. And now when I did my profile and I understood this work, I knew why I was like that. And I also knew why being an accountant and doing tax took so much of my energy, because it did not come naturally to me in my behavior, but I could do it. And that's the most important thing. And unlike other profiles, the purpose of extended DISC or human behavior in general is to understand, okay, what sits in my comfort zone? So imagine you've got your comfort zone here. And it's really easy and comfortable. Everything you do within that comfort zone is comfortable. It might simply be technical accounting. Okay, that sits naturally. You've nailed that. You've done years and years of training and it's sitting there. But actually, the next step in your career is sitting outside your comfort zone. And when we think about it, that could be your leadership journey, or it could be the next step up in your career in whatever capacity. And you might tell yourself, oh, I can't do that. I can't possibly do that. That makes me feel uncomfortable. Or I tell myself, that's just too far out of my ability to do it. I could never do that. But you can, because now you know what you know, and you can't unknow this model. Because what this means is you now know what sits comfortably within your comfort zone. And that all this means is that your next goal may sit outside of it. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable, because any growth is uncomfortable. Any growth, it means when you are uncomfortable, it means you're growing. It means that you're developing as a human in those human skills. If you think about the first time you started at university to be an accountant or to be a finance professional, I bet you felt uncomfortable. And if we take it back a step further, I bet the first time you got on a bike, you felt uncomfortable and you fell off. Of course you did. We all do. Anything that's new is going to feel uncomfortable. Anything that we fear, anything that's new, we fear. And the most successful people feel fear every day. It's a normal and natural part of their lives. So when we're stepping up into leadership and to becoming that person that we want to be into next year and beyond, it's about learning how we react and respond So we can navigate ourselves to expand our comfort zone, and so that new thing is suddenly sitting in our new comfort zone. And what eDisc shows us is that you can be anything that you want. You simply have to learn how to be uncomfortable, how to feel the fear, and step outside that comfort zone and develop the skills around it. So for me to be able to sit here as an accountant and run this webinar with you guys, I've had to learn, I've had to train, I've had to surround myself with great people and experts to know what they're doing, and that I trusted, and that could take me on that journey. And that's the same with everyone, great mentors and coaches. So now, what comes naturally and normally for you? I want you to just think about it and just take a moment. We're going to take a moment here. I may not be able to see you, but we're going to take a moment. What comes naturally and normally? And if I could see you, I'm guessing that a lot of you, if I asked if you felt like you were detailed and analytical, that a lot of you would put up your hands. And also systems and processes and fixing, a lot of you would put up your hands, because that's a normal part of being a finance executive, a finance professional. And that's natural. And so what we need to do is understand, okay, well, if we want to stretch into other quadrants, it's going to take more energy, but you can do it. I talk about bookmarking it. So you do something easy beforehand, easy after, and then you step into whatever that task is. It's going to take more energy. Now, this also impacts how we communicate with others. So firstly, it's leading self, and now we're talking about leading others. How do we communicate with others? Because if you're in finance and you're speaking to someone in HR sits generally down here as a general rule. They're great with people. They like to be liked. They like to talk, the big picture. And what happens is that we often think that they're talking two different languages, one speaking analytical detail and one speaking people. And so we as leaders, as we develop those leadership human skills, we've got to meet that person where they're at. So we've got to start to enter and put their lens on, okay, what we call their map of the world, or the world in which they exist. We've got to put their lens on. And the more we are like someone when we're communicating with them, the more they're going to be able to receive the message that we're sending, the more we're going to be able to influence them and inspire them. Okay? And that's great leadership, because communication is the language of leadership. Okay? And human behavior is the key. And we can also think about decision making. You know, do we need a lot of information to make decisions? Sometimes that's not possible. So we have to create strategies and structures in order to be able to stretch into other quadrants. I don't know about you, but for a lot of finance professionals, receiving a public speaking, having to publicly speak or receiving an award, it's about the worst thing we can do. And then you say, why are you up here, Linda? You're publicly speaking. Because I've trained and I've worked and I've surrounded myself with great people. So I can learn to stretch from my S energy into my I energy to be able to do it. Now think of your teams. Where are they sitting on the quadrant? How do you influence and inspire your teams or your peers? Are they similar to you? Is it really super easy? Or are they different? And how can you stretch and meet them where they're at so you can influence them? Or if you're dealing with clients, it's the same thing. All your clients are going to be different. So we've got to learn these skills, these human skills, to be able to calibrate to our clients so they can receive the message that we're receiving, that we're sending to them in a way that they can receive it. We can motivate our teams, building high performance cultures, being part of something great. So what comes naturally and easily to you? and how do others perceive you, and how do you perceive others? That's a whole other conversation. So in the couple of minutes I've got left, I wanted to share a couple of things with you. Perspective. These lenses of ours, these glasses we wear, the way we process and experience the world, it's all different. And I thought this slide was particularly cool for today. There's no right or wrong or better or worse here. We are simply looking at it from different ways. Okay. And that's human behavior. As a leader, to be able to influence, inspire, we've got to be able to look at it from a whole lot of different ways. So, who am I now? This is my life. This is the life I created. This is me where I live now at the beach. I love to hike. And this was me last month doing an iFly on a cruise ship. I had so much fear, and I breathed, and I used all of my learnings from doing this work to absolutely love and enjoy the experience and remove the fear. So anything is possible. You can fly too. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And the journey starts by learning to lead yourself. And that's what today has been about. So I hope you have received great value, and I'm going to send this back to, hand back to Sanjay. And I think we've got some Q&A coming up.
We do, Linda. We definitely do. And I obviously have a couple of interesting questions as well, but I'm just going to hold them back until the audience gets going. If that's all right with you, would you be able to make me the host so that I could?
Oh, yep. Okay. Now.
You can click on my...
Okay, let me just find where you are in participants.
No, just click on my picture on Zoom, the 3 dots, and then you could make me the host.
Okay.
Towards the right corner, upper right corner. Yes, lovely.
There we go.
Beautiful.
Love technology.
Yeah, never gets old. All right. Yes, if you can fly, sky's the limit. Pretty interesting. And the questions are coming in right now as well. Yes. So I'm just going to go there. So I'm just going to take the first question. Okay, answer live. So it's a relatable question. Which leadership skills will be crucial in 2024?
Oof. Where do we start? The main relevant leadership skills are obviously is communication. It's always number one, the way you communicate. Leadership to me, so leadership skills, the way I look at leadership is this. A lot of the theory of leadership and the way we're taught leadership is the different levels of leadership, etc. Leadership skills, it's rapport building, it's empathy, it's, as I said, communication, it's emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Because emotional intelligence is being able to see other people as humans, and that we're not always going to get things right. Things aren't always going to go to plan. But to meet people where they're at and to know that everyone is doing the best they can with the resources that they have at that moment, that's great leadership. To be able to step up and build trust in a team as well, that's massive. But you can only build trust when you're the benchmark of excellence. And they're so doing exactly what you say you're going to do, because it's your standards, it's your attitudes, it's your values, it's your belief, it's your benchmarks. They're all incredibly important to being a great leader. And a great leader, if you ever had a great leader, it's one that inspires, it's one that motivates, it's one that influences, and it's one that is calm no matter what is going on. So it's our ability to thrive during chaos. That is the difference that makes a difference to a great leader. So I hope that helps.
It does. It does. Thriving in a chaotic world. So in a way, resilience, and as you said, being empathetic.
Yep.
In this rat race that we've been running from time ever since, it's natural for us to not be empathetic, but rather being an empathetic leader is the secret of onwards and upwards, I should say.
Well, it is. It's recognizing that. We go back to the first slide. We're not robots.
Yeah.
We're not human doings. We're human beings. So everyone has challenges. Everyone has great days and not so great days. Everyone has things and that are going on that we're not aware of. So as a leader, we've got to meet people where they're at.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Linda, your presentation speaks volumes, and I'm pretty sure that's why I'm saying is not because of anything else, but for the volume of questions that we're getting. And I'm just going to bring one more. A pretty interesting one by Dehan. Just going to bring it up. I'm involved in the new technologies and entrepreneurship. I want to know how to identify the right talent when it comes to choosing the right person for the top technical jobs apart from the subject knowledge. So the person fit and the team fit aspect that a leader.
Great question. I love it. So one of my passions is also helping organizations create great cultures. Yes. And so we can be the great technician, the greatest technician, the greatest accountant or whatever. But it's the alignment with the culture that is going to either ensure that hire is a success or it's a failure. Because when the organization knows its mission, its values, so what's most important to it, the beliefs and how they value their people, when they know that, then the recruitment side becomes a lot easier, because obviously you've got your technical knowledge, and on eDisc you would know where that job would sit. But as a person, well, what are their values and beliefs? Do they align with the organizations? What are their standards? What are their benchmarks? What are their attitudes? Do they align? Because we want our teams to feel like they belong in the organization. We don't want them to fit in, we want them to belong. So it's through questioning, through the recruitment process, where you can start to extract this information. What do they love to do? Get them to start talking, get them to feel relaxed, and then ask them some great questions to see if you've got great rapport with them, or are they being robotic and telling you what you want to hear. So it's through the skills with regards to the interview process, but knowing firstly the organizational culture that you belong to first, and then recruiting people that belong in that culture and align with it as well. Hope that helps.
It does in a big way, because I'll come back to that, but ladies and gentlemen, I've created a poll for you guys to vote on, understanding what sort of a leadership training programs that you prefer, whether it's in person, whether it's online, or if you want the best of both worlds, go hybrid. So that's for us to understand how to go forward. And coming back to the point that you raised, Linda, culture. It's the soil that the tree of the company has been growing in. And there are various instances that companies have, I would say, sunk, or the ship has gone down, where they have tried to fix in a person for the sake of fitting him in, but there's a huge culture misfit.
Yeah.
And that's toxic. So the leader should know.
Yeah, and it's I see it time and time again, and a lot of my clients will come in and they'll say, I don't think this is working for me. And I'll say, well, how do you feel when you walk in the door? What is your body telling you? And again, when we're robotic, we're not aware of what our body's telling us, but we will feel it inside. You'll know how you feel. And if you feel like you belong and you're safe in that environment and you've got a high level of trust, or there's not that alignment, and then you've got the choice. So the main thing is to know you've got choice. You've got choice as to how you want to be in that moment and what you want to do with your life.
Oh yes, though we don't know, the power of choice is
Choice.
quite powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's vital for it could make or break the company and the people and maybe the greater society.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to empower ourselves. We want to make sure that we don't want to be the victim. We want to be the hero of our journey.
Yeah. And I got another interesting question. Questions are coming in. I'm just gonna select a few. From Hemanta Basnaik. What leadership skill can we share to build team spirit? So if I'm getting this question right.
Yeah, I think that's sort of moving similar to sort of what we've been talking about. Empathy, compassion, kindness.
Yeah.
They're all incredible human skills that you can bring as a leader, because people want to be seen. So when you are compassionate and kind, you're going to motivate people and knowing, and you're going to be able to connect with people. So to build team spirit, gosh, so many exercises. But as a leadership skill, you want to build trust, build spirit. Yeah. So how can you build spirit? Great communication, great open lines of communication are incredible for building team spirit. Taking people, building them up and helping them connect with the vision and the purpose of the team. So getting the team to do their values and their culture, what's great culture for the team. And so they all feel part of it and they know what success looks like for them at the end of the day. So it's, again, meeting people where they're at and bringing people along on the journey while you are being that benchmark of excellence. Okay, because we can only ask from our people what we're prepared to do.
So in short, you have to be the benchmark of excellence of yourself or for yourself.
And the team.
Exactly.
But again, when I work with a lot of organizations, people want an empathetic leader. They want to be heard. They don't want to be a robot. They want to be a human being.
If you want a robotic leader, you need not go into such details and such training. You just have to develop it. But I mean, what's the point of all that? Yeah. Got one interesting question. How artificial intelligence would impact future-ready leadership?
Well, AIs are robots and leaders are not. AI will do a lot of accounting functions that currently accountants do, and that's a great thing because then we can focus on value adding for our clients. Yeah. And so I would look at AI as an opportunity for the profession to get rid of some of those mundane things that we've been doing forever and going, actually, well, how do we want to be a great finance executive, a finance professional? So robots can't be leaders. Leadership is human. So if you start thinking about anything to do with leadership, is the human skills. Human skills start with your self-leadership and then you lead others. So the more work you do on yourself and being a great human and being a great leader, you will fly. So that's how I see AI. I don't know if that answers the question. That's how I see AI impacting future-ready leadership. It's a tool to be used to enable efficiency and productivity, and frees us humans to do things that that can innovate and inspire and really bring out the best in us humans. And I think it's a great opportunity for us.
And I guess almost all of us would be of that view. AI is a tool to become an effective leader. And at the end of the day, technology will develop, will succeed, but obviously one thing that it cannot do is have the human touch, which only humans can do.
That's
I
it.
would.
That's it. It's like when we do you know, we've been in the world of COVID and now we've come out and we still run our online webinars like this one, which is awesome because then we can connect with people from everywhere. But human connection is so important.
Yes.
You know, and that is what, you know, staying connected as a team is really important.
Precisely. And got another interesting question. So yeah, almost all of them are. What sort of leadership skills can you use to help your team feel comfortable or be assertive at the same time?
Okay. So a sales coach once said to me, Linda, you've got to be commercial. You know, whatever you do, you've got to be commercial. And I added on to that with compassion, kindness, and love. Okay. So your team to feel comfortable, it is going back to that old theme of meeting them where they're at, listening to them, developing them as people, seeing them as people with empathy, kindness, and also having the standards and the benchmarks around knowing boundaries and knowing that you're still the leader. But you can be the leader with empathy. You can be the leader as being assertive, because the more people know what's expected, the more people know what the benchmark is, the more people know how to do their role, but they know what their KPIs are and what's expected, then you can simply bring in the evidence to say about performance. Okay. So you need the systems and processes in place so people know what's expected of them and what success looks like. And then you can also be human with them. So it takes practice and it takes self-awareness and this self-leadership, because we need to understand who we are first and how what sort of person we are and how we react and respond in challenging situations. So, you know, when we're being assertive, how's that coming across to the other person? We need to make sure that the message that we're sending is being received in the way we want it to be received. And that's why human behavior is so important, because we've got to get into have the lens of the person that we're talking to so we can inspire and influence them.
Inspire and influence, and of course, self-leadership.
Communication, self-awareness, they're huge.
So there you go. Linda iterated on communication thrice, and it cannot be iterated enough going forward. That's the key. So would you like to have maybe one last question before we
I can have one last question. Yep, sure.
All right. Okay. Pretty interesting. One would be, as I'm a teacher. Okay, I'm just gonna make it public. As I'm a teacher, how do I improve and introduce my student leadership qualities?
I'm assuming that means how do I develop leadership qualities in my students?
Yes.
Okay. Start to bring in some human behavior. Okay. So what I mean is, so people often see leadership training as, you know, we need to know those 5 steps of leadership and all these things that we're taught. I believe that, you know, and through what I've shared today, is that it's our self-awareness, and that is the first step to being a great leader. So that is what I would teach in schools, is a bit of philosophy and a bit of understanding of how we think as humans. And, you know, there's lots of different models and things that we go through in our training, how we actually think of humans as humans and how we process information and how we then get the results that we do. Because the more we understand ourselves and how we move through stress and challenging times, how we develop our emotional intelligence and empathy, at a school level, if they come out with those skills and the basic understanding of human behavior, then they'll go through their career journey with a different lens to everyone else. And that's sort of a thing I wish we had when we came out of finance, as a finance professional or as a teacher or whoever you are. It's the more you can bring in the concepts of human behavior, communication and thinking, what motivates people, all those sorts of things, then you're doing an incredible job of expanding their awareness and bringing in some concepts and perspectives that they wouldn't have otherwise had. And they will take that through their career. And that would be so powerful to give that as a gift to the students.
Gift to the students, so that later on they would become the leaders of the teachers perceive them to be.
That if everyone who is in school and university needs to understand human behavior, if we could, because it's the work that we're doing here, and then it's the ripple effect. So the person that asked, that beautiful person that asked the question, it's now the ripple effect that they'll be able to take this work back into that environment and impact more people. So that's the beauty of this work.
It is, because at the end of the day, the organizational grapevine is actually what nurtures everyone in terms of the leadership.
That's it, because it's the culture, for sure.
Culture is at its core, and culture is, I would say, the fundamental thing for leadership.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we can be speaking for hours and hours till everyone kind of goes home or whichever. But of course, the whole purpose of this future-ready leadership, navigating the chaotic world of 2024, is because Brisca Education is about to launch its wonderful yet insightful leadership course, headed by none other than hers truly, Linda Scott, helming it. And we would be requesting anyone and everyone who would like to be part of this program to make an expression of interest. I'm just going to share those details over there on the chat. So you could RSVP by making an expression of interest to Brisca Education. Reach them via WhatsApp. Reach out to them via WhatsApp. So the number is +94 76 441 1703. I'll read out the number again: +94 76 441 1703. So that's the number. If you want, not if you want, you should reach out to them and make an expression of interest. And I personally say, do reach out, because having her at the helm and having you and having her as the person who can guide you, there's no other better one that you can ask for. And the results of the poll is that most of them, I would say 52%, agreed to have the poll as an online, not the poll, but rather the training program, the leadership training program, in terms of online. So there you go.
Okay. Could I just share one last statement before we head off?
All yours.
Would that be all right?
All yours, all yours.
Okay. I'm hoping and I'm sure that I want everyone to think about that one nugget of gold that they've now got, that they're going to implement straight away into their career and into their lives. And I know you guys know this is just the beginning, and hopefully, and I'm sure you can feel the impact of understanding and just being exposed over the last hour to just one simple model and how much of an impact this can make on your success. Because today we've just scratched the surface. Because when you master your self-leadership, you will understand how to lead and manage yourself, and you can lead and inspire and influence others. This is because you'll understand why you and others do what you do, which will make it means that you'll make conscious choices about the outcomes that you want. You'll be able to start with the end in mind and reverse engineer it, and you work out who you want to be now. This will make you a high-performing leader, which means you'll achieve your potential in your global or your career, whatever that is, and now and into the future, wherever that career takes you. So remember, we've just peeled the onion and we're just taking that first step right now. So I look forward to being able to connect with you, whoever signs up, and how we're going to run this program. And I'm really super excited.
Yeah, correct, Linda. Not whoever, everyone will sign up, and everyone should sign up. And then, as Linda clearly put out there, some great golden nuggets of wisdom. Start with the end in mind: culture, communication, communication, and communication, and be empathetic. And AI will come, but so did calculators. And leadership will always be there, because at the end of the day, you just be yourself, be human, and strive on, and then the rest will just follow. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks a lot, Linda, for giving your Saturday family, I would say family Saturday afternoon for us and joining with us. And it's been an insightful 1 hour. And thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sanjay. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot. And if you want to get in touch, as I mentioned, reach out to them via WhatsApp. The number is 076 441 1703. And obviously, the team will also get in touch with you via email. Make that expression of interest quickly as possible. Get on the RSVP list, and you won't see me, but you will enjoy the session as ever long with Linda Scott. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been lovely having all of you.
Thanks, everyone. See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.